Absent-minded gamer here. Hey, it is time for episode 11 of 5 random airports and airfields. And this time around, I decided to take you on a little tour of my favorite airports and airfields that I like to go fly out of when I'm sitting around and I don't have anything to do and I really want to boot up Flight Simulator. These are usually some of the airports that I kind of gravitate to. So first up, we're going to look at Yakima, Washington, and we're going to be at the Yakima Air Terminal, also known as McAllister Field. This airport has two runways, and it is 7,598 feet, and the other one is 3,831 feet. The runways are bituminous. Let's just jump right in and take a look at the airport. Now, I have a freeware file that I got off of flightsim.to for Yakima, Washington. And most of these airports, with the exception of one of them, I did get additional scenery for off of flightsim.to. But Yakima by default is okay looking. It is much better with this extra scenery package. Now, for those of you that do not know, I grew up in Yakima, Washington. I am familiar with McAllister Airfield, Yakima Air Terminal. They used to have some pretty cool air shows here, and I spent many great summers watching the airplanes, watching jets, World War II planes. I even saw the 909 here. So I have a lot of fond memories here. And I even did a little stint with the State Patrol as a volunteer doing security for the air show. So let's just take a look here. We're at would be the east end of the runway. And over here, this is where Charlie McAllister's Air Museum would be. And his old flight school, it would be right in here. And then he used to park his planes out over here. This used to be the Air National Guard building. I don't know what it is now. That's been a long time since I've been to Yakima. And then this particular building here is a privately owned hangar. So anyways, let's just jump right in. Like I said, there's two different runways. This is the shorter of the two. And then runway 27 is the longer of the two. Now, I could sit here and tell you probably exactly what each business was, but I'm not going to bore you with that. So over there is Perry Trade, Perry Technical Institute. And that is Washington Avenue. And then you have these hangars here. And then the main terminal building, which this is modeled to look like the actual terminal building. Isn't that cool? Now, I've been up in that tower too. Many, many years ago when I was a kid. My brother knew somebody that knew somebody, and I got to go up in the tower. I know, big deal, right? But it was a big deal when I was a kid. I always wanted to see the original tower, but I never got to go inside the old part of the building. And then you have the fire department and more facilities out over this direction. I can't remember who's who anymore. So I remember Dowdy Aerospace used to be out this direction, but I don't think they're there anymore. This is a great great file for adding accuracy to Flight Simulator. And the FedEx building, which FedEx building used to be attached when I was there, the FedEx building was still part of the hangar. Or, I'm sorry, not the hangar, the terminal building. So they actually have their own facility here now. So what we're going to do is just jump in the plane and go for a short little flight. This area, last time I was in Yakima was 2003. So that kind of gives you an idea. A lot has changed. A lot has changed. So we're going to jump into the Coronado Piper and we're going to go for a short little circuit around the airport. And see what the valley has to offer. Alright, so we're in the Coronado Piper for this flight. We're going to just take off due west and come back around along the ridge line and fly out towards Mach C and check out the runway from above. Well, I just rattled on for about 10 minutes, did a flight, and went to stop the video and realized I never hit the begin. It never started recording anything. So we're starting over, and I'm going to try to remember everything that I said. So Yakima is known for the views. If you look out over each wing, you see the ridge lines in both directions. The hills, the Yakima Hills. This is Rattlesnake Ridge. I can't remember what the one. We used to just call them Seal Hills. But anyways, as we take off here, just west of the runway, we're going to be flying over Congdon Orchards. And there is a castle in Congdon Orchards. Not going to be able to see it yet. All of that down there is Congdon Orchards, or at least it was when I lived there. It has been a long time. The castle itself is right there. I've actually driven up this way all through here and have driven right up by the front doorstep there, but it was my job, so I was not trespassing. I always wanted to see the inside of that castle. So as we fly back towards the airport, we're going to go ahead and fly along the ridge line here. Now, Yakima has grown. The Yakima airport has changed quite a bit since I was there. A lot of the that you're going to see here off to the south part of the runway, part of the airport. A lot of this wasn't there. I mean, there were some buildings, and I remember a lot of this was still dirt when I was there. At least I think it was. But at one time they were talking about a third runway, and I think the plans were to make this a runway, but I am not 100% sure. But it never happened. And a lot of this was not there. So then you go out that direction, over that ridge, that is Sela. And then if you go out over here, you're getting into the lower valley area. Out that direction is White Swan. And off in the distance there, out in that area, that would be Wapato. And then you get to Sunnyside and Toppenish. Then you can actually and on to Prosser. Out over here, this is Union Gap. That would be the Valley Mall. That is probably the largest structure in Union Gap. And looking out over the wing, that is downtown Yakima right there. Now, Flight Simulator, I wish they would add in the larger buildings, because Yakima does have a few larger buildings, and they make up a good part of the skyline for Yakima, especially from the air. One of the buildings is called the Chinook Towers, and if it's there,
Yakima Tower, November 842.
It would look so much more realistic. But Yakima from here looks flat.
Smoke can approach November 842 Tango Uniform.
Granted, the land is flat,
miles
but
east of
it
Yakima,
does have some nice sized
feet.
buildings in it.
Request flight following.
As we get out here, this would be Moxie, and I believe the ILS approach to runway 27 is right
Tango Uniform.
in here somewhere. We're going to get turned around here and head back to the runway.
Roger, 2 Tango Uniform.
It is a pretty easy approach. Interesting tidbit of information. This is the ridge that actually developed a fracture line, and I don't know whatever came of it, if they were able to fix it or whatnot, but supposedly this whole part of the hill is going to collapse down into the valley at some point, but I don't believe it ever did, or it hasn't yet. But last I heard, it was pretty unstable. Yakima still looks good compared to, you know, what it used to look like on Flight Simulator 10. Why every time I see that, what's going on, there we go, this thing, I always think it's a meat thermometer. I know it's not. So one of the things I did say, meant to say, was that how much the valley's changed. I haven't been back to the valley since 2003. And I'm amazed at how much growth there's been there. And how much it's changed. And I like to look on like Google Earth and that kind of stuff. And it was actually, I was flying around on here, and I was flying over a location that I knew quite well. And the location was gone. The whole block was gone. And I thought, well, that can't be right. And so I went to Google Earth, and sure enough, the whole block had been torn down and new buildings put up. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So, you know, things change. Should have made that first turn. That looks like the FedEx building. Originally, the FedEx building, well, I think I said that already, used to be attached to the terminal, and now they have their own center. And this airport looks really good lit up at night. Alright, well, we're going to just find us a parking spot. Now, like I said earlier, I've been to a lot of air shows here. Back in the 80s and into the 90s, they did some pretty incredible air. I think it was Bob Clem that used to do the air show. He was the airport manager. All right, well, that's going to do it for Yakima. Let's move on to the next one. Next up is KMWH. This will be Grant County International. Now, I use this one for whenever I'm flying big jets. I like to fly in and out of this plane. Even if I'm just trying out the plane, I like this airport. So this is another one I got some freeware scenery off of, flightsim.to for. And without the scenery, this doesn't look anything. It's just the runways, and it's very basic. So if you want to try this out, just look up Grant County on flightsim.to, and you can download it and put it in your community folder. So first off, this airport has 5 runways. It has a 3,500 foot runway. It has a 2,929 foot runway, a 3,321 foot runway, a 9,999 foot runway, and a 13,491 foot asphalt runway. This place is huge. And this is another place that I've been to in person several times. My dad used to go here when he was a coffee salesman, and he visited this place, and I remember coming into this place, and they used to have like 747s parked there, and I mean big jets. It was so out of place because you're here in Moses Lake, and there's nothing, but then there's this big huge international airport, and they didn't use it for passengers. This was a repair facility I believe it was for a Japanese outfit I could be wrong, but I don't remember the details. But you'll notice, I mean, everything looks pretty defunct. And I don't know what it looks like now. I haven't. Here's another one I have not been to in years. But it's huge. So we're gonna have to keep this one kind of short. I don't really want to drag on, but I want to drag this out for the sake of the video. I like to keep my videos about a half hour. But Moses Lake in this area is mainly farmland. And there just isn't a lot here. And I believe as of late, Boeing was using this for the 787. I think I read that somewhere. But it just seems so out of place to see all these big jets. And if you were to fly from Yakima to KMWH, it's a really nice flight. And lots to see. So it looks like storage facilities, that kind of thing. And large hangars. I remember asking my dad if I could go see the airplanes. He said, no, we can't do that. Alright, well, let's just jump in the air. Yeah, there's some more over here, too. Hey, there's a bus. Look, there's more traffic on the runway than there is airplanes. Oh, that's funny. So then we get over here and you have your tower. And the approach into this is kind of fun. You learn it, you learn the landmarks, and it becomes a pretty easy airport to land at. Of course, with the big runways, and well, how could it not be? So that's gonna be it for this. Let's just get in and go fly, huh? We're gonna be in the King Air. Oops. Yeah, we're gonna be in the King Air for this one. We're sitting out on the runway already. So let's just go. This is actually when I did the video for the AN225. This is where I brought it. I just put it on the biggest runway I could find. And used this particular airport. Moses Lake is kind of like the town that if you... I mean, it's a decent sized town, but you will miss it. It's worth seeing though. It used to have a phenomenal steakhouse. I think it was called the Fog Cutter. Oh, I have some fond memories of that place. What am I getting a warning about? this thing takes up some serious real estate. What's blinking? Autopilot. I don't want the auto. I don't need the autopilot. I guess I'm going to get an autopilot warning. And then if you were to fly east of here, you would eventually hit Spokane. And I have some really good scenery installed for that I got from flightsim.to also. Now we're cruising along here at 200 miles per hour. I believe Moses Lake, the city of Moses Lake, is all right up in here. Like my airspeed. This thing doesn't slow down. Okay, well, it's going to take a while to taxi back to the airport. Next up is Newport Municipal Airport. This will be KONP. And this airport has a 5,378-foot runway as well as a 3,046-foot runway. And it is bituminous. I need to learn how to say that word. This particular airport is... I fly out of this one all the time because I live on the coast. I live on the Oregon coast. So, I drive by this all the time. When you look to the north, that would be South Beach, driving through South Beach, and then on to Newport with the bridge over the bay. But let's just stick to the airport. I like this airport. This is also another, I added a scenery file to this from flightsim.to, and it adds a ton of stuff to it. Otherwise, it's pretty vanilla in default Flight Simulator. Oh, hey, there's a ship out there. And I like this because it gets... the FBO is in the right spot. And this is exactly how the airport is laid out. Even has people standing out in front. Parking, I've never seen that messed up before. This has some really good scenery. Alright, then we just come out on runway 34. Usually, as a rule, that's the direction we take off from and fly north out over Newport. But the wind must be blowing the wrong direction today, so we're on the other end of the runway. And it is totally surrounded by woods, a lot of forest, and you got a nice view of the Pacific out there. This is also set up for real world weather. The runway does have a little slope to it also. This is one of my other go-to places that I like to fly, and you know why? Because I live here, so I like seeing what it looks like
Seattle Center
in the
Cessna
flight
Alpha
simulator
Sierra X-ray
world
Golf Sierra
versus what
is
it
type
looks like in
Cessna
the real
Caravan
world.
1 mile south of Kilo Oscar November Papa 300 feet. Request flight following. Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Seattle Center. Squawk 4422. Squawk 4422 Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
We're going to fly out this direction, go north out over Newport.
Roger, Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
The one thing I wish they would do, and nobody's done it, I don't know how to do it, is add the lighthouses. The lighthouses would look really good in this. And none of the lighthouses on the Orkney coast they're not there. See, there should be a lighthouse right out here, and there isn't, and another one right out here in front of us, and there isn't. So we're out over Yaquina Bay now. Off in that you're going to be off in that direction. You're looking at Toledo. Toledo has a nice little runway too. Now we're over Hatfield Marine Science Center. Off to our left is Newport. It really is that beautiful here. Actually, it looks more to scale in real life. Oh, hey, I'm thinking I'm adjusting my throttle and I'm on the wrong throttle lever. Absent-minded, I tell ya. So we're going to come right back in. There's the bridge. I would like to see a fully modeled bridge of the Yaquina Bay Bridge because the bridge is absolutely gorgeous. Assuming, now they don't have the new hospital here, or it's not represented in the scenery. But that's okay. We can live with that. It still looks pretty darn good. There's the old bayfront down there. This is great for you want to do a sunset flight. I like to take off from Newport and fly to Florence. And out here in front of us, that is South Beach. That'd be South Beach State Park down there. Alright, that's going to do it for Newport. A couple other surprises for you with the next airport. Next airport isn't too far from this one. It's not really an airport, it's just a little grass field that is situated near Beachside State Park. And it is a crazy, crazy airport. Or not air. Gotta quit saying that. It's an airfield. It's an airstrip. I don't even know if you could classify it as an airport. There's no buildings there. It's just grass. But I've heard stories about how hard it is to land there. Okay, well, we're gonna park right here. Just like that. On to the next. Next up is Wakanda Beach. This will be R33, and this is 2,014 feet of grass. This is what you get with Wakanda Beach. You got a road at one end of the runway and trees, and a lot of trees at the other end of the runway. So there isn't a lot to go there, and I believe, in all reality, I believe it's just a house that is there, and it's not an actual facility. But I could be wrong about that. But anyways, this would be Wakanda Beach Road. Then you're right out here onto 101. And then the beach. And then just down the road is a beachside state park from Wakanda Beach. That would be the day use area there. Yeah, there you go. This would be Beachside State Park. And that is actually the road layout. And normally you'd see RVs parked like here in these spots and whatnot. And down further south is Yachats. And then if you look to the north, north is heading up towards Waldport. That's that little inlet up there. So back to the airport. This doesn't leave a lot to the imagination. And this is exactly what it is in real life. So you're just... I've seen a lot of like ultralights and that kind of stuff. In the summertime, a lot of ultralights and really small planes. I actually talked to a guy that flew a Cessna 172 into here, and he told me that he was a Navy pilot, and he said that this was almost as difficult as a carrier landing. Now, if there was any truth to that, I have no idea. So we're going to be in the ultralight. Let's just go up for a short little jog. Okay, and I'm staying safe here with this because I am not good at landing this particular airport or airstrip. Back out over beachside, just down off, just south there, looking south is 101 heading towards Yachats, and then that point sticking out, that would be Cape Perpetua. One of the benefits of living here is to enjoy this beauty year-round. I have been up and down this entire beach many a times.
Center, Ultralight Golf, Mike Whiskey Alpha Whiskey.
Oh yeah, I need ATC right
1 mile
now
south of
in my
Romeo,
ultralight.
tree, 200 feet. Request flight following.
Ultralight Golf, Mike Whiskey Alpha Whiskey, Seattle Center. Squawk Tree 001.
Squawk Tree 001, Ultralight Whiskey Alpha Whiskey.
Maybe one of these days I'll make a video
Ultralight Whiskey
flying
Alpha
the Oregon
Whiskey,
coast. That'd be
contact
kind of
1
fun.
mile south of Romeo, tree,
Start in
700
Astoria
feet.
and fly to all the runways going south.
Roger, Ultralight Whiskey Alpha Whiskey.
Keep going north up in here. This will be Waldport up here. We're going to go ahead and turn around and head back, and then that would be the Alsea River. This opens up into the bay. And there's Bayshore Spit, or Bayshore is what they call it. Wallport. We are really high. We may have to come back around. We'll be all right. Come in right over the road. Used to be able to hear these guys. Haven't for the last few years. And I don't know why. Ultralight makes it look easy. I've tried this in the 172 and it is hard. Especially if there's wind coming off that ocean. Alright, that's going to do it for Wakanda Beach. Let's go check out the next one. Next up is going to be Florence Municipal Airport. This airport is 3,004 feet of asphalt, and it is 6S2, 6 SAM 2. This one is in Florence, Oregon, of course. This is further south, but this is usually I'll fly from Newport to Florence for just a short little flight. This is also another airport that I did download some scenery for. I'm pretty certain I downloaded scenery for this. I may be wrong, because this is looking like a default airport anyways, but it's still a good airport regardless. Yeah, I believe this is just default. So I think I looked and there was nothing for hey, that guy just clipped the wing of that airplane. I think I did go look to see if there was anything, and I couldn't find anything for this one. But if you've ever been to Florence, again, you got the Pacific Ocean out that direction. And here's the airport. So we're going to be in the 152 for this flight. We're going to just take off, do a short little circuit over the town of Florence, and then come back and land. Alright, here we go. Look like we got some pretty heavy clouds rolling in too. And yes, the clouds do get that dark here.
Seattle Center Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is type Cessna 152 1 miles northwest
So
of
this
6
would
Sierra
actually be the
200 feet. Request
Siuslaw
flight
River.
following.
Cessna
And
Alpha
out
Sierra X-ray
over in
Golf
this
Sierra
area are
Seattle
all your
Center.
sand dunes, and
Squawk
Honeyman State
444
Park
tree.
is down that direction. We're gonna just fly
Squawk
over
444 tree, Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
the Old Bayfront
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra radar contact
and
1
check
mile
out the
west
town.
of 6 Sierra 2900 feet. Altimeter 30.35.
I believe the new this would be
Roger
the new
Cessna X-ray
hospital.
Golf Sierra.
There's the bridge. Highway 101. Now, Bayfront it's acceptable. There are boats and stuff parked out over here. It would be nice to see some boats. But the flight up the river is awesome. The drive up and out this direction is incredible. It has some of the most beautiful scenery and an incredible an old railroad bridge that crosses the river, and it makes for some incredible pictures. That'd be Florence, Oregon down there. Kenmore Air Express.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra contact Seattle Center on 125.8. Good day.
125.8 Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra. Seattle Center, Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra 700 feet.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra Seattle Center altimeter 30.36. Continue as planned.
Even that's all correct. The schools and whatnot, that's cool. Pacific Ocean. Alright, well, I think we're going to turn back and land. I can call this video good. This has been fun. I know I go a little more random usually, but I've had some technical problems this week, so I wanted to kind of get through this just in case I didn't fix the problems I was having. That's a little dark. Sorry about that. I couldn't tell you where the light switch is. Okay, there we go.
Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra contact Seattle Center on 121.4.
I don't need to. I'm landing.
121.4 Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra. Seattle Center, Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra 300
I
feet.
love Flight Simulator. I think
Cessna Alpha
it's
Sierra X-Ray Golf
Flight
Sierra,
Simulator
Seattle Central
2020.
altimeter 30.35.
I mean, granted, there's
Continue as planned.
issues sometimes, but this makes it all worthwhile. Again, if I've inspired you to check out these airports or do something different with Flight Simulator, I've done my job. I just like to share, I like sharing my interests with you. And if our interests are the same, that's awesome. And if you've never flown into Florence Municipal Airport and you go do it, hey, that's awesome. Oh, come on, don't stop. That's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. And we'll see you in the next one. Please hit the like and subscribe, okay? Have a great day.